It is open, my friends. Battles have yet to begin. Laughter we had in gales and floods, but if not, at least there will be blood. The sorrow and loss may abound. We'll do our best to hold this hallowed ground.
Welcome back to Nightbane. Oh, it's been a long and hard journey, and we finally made it to the Nightbane camp in Canada. After a little over a month of walking around, playing tag with some vampires, which we do have a correction to make with that, but we'll get to that in a moment. But we are officially now in camp, in a Nightbane camp in Canada, and we're doing a lot of lore dumping right now. We just had a huge lore dump on what it is to be a Nightbane. There are a few other lore experts in camp if they so desire to talk to them. I would strongly suggest it, but there is somebody who is a lore expert on vampires, and there is somebody who is a lore expert on both the Nightlands and Nightlords. Right now, we're doing a little bit of character housekeeping. All the characters have officially leveled up and are now level 2. Now, they're right now working on all the math that goes along with leveling up a character, but just as a recap for everybody at home, could we go around the table and just get a quick re-description of what your character looks like in Morphous form, so people know what to visualize?
I'll go first because those two are still thinking. Having already done the system, it's a little easier for me to level up. I still forget things though, but I think we covered all the stuff that I've forgotten so far. Hi, I'm Lawrence. I forgot our last name. Mothman. There we go. Lawrence Mothman. I don't know. I'm not the one who gave it to me. She is. I'm Lawrence Mothman.
Actually, that was our father.
Truth. I look like, I think I said about a...
You sure you didn't take your mother's name? But anyway.
6'8"
Yes.
to 7'2", somewhere around there. Fully metal lad with 4 arms. 2 of them, the biggest ones, being guns. Those would be the 4 arms I normally have, but when I'm in Morphous form, I have 2 smaller appendages, smaller arms that stick out that I can still do typey and work with. Opposable thumbs still, not just barrels. Big old goggles for eyes, and they are actually my eyes themselves. I kind of look like riveted metal just put together. Every single piece of surface of me is entirely metal. And I actually look like what my clothes would have been in human form, which is a nice knitted vest with a collared shirt underneath, khaki pants, your stereotypical what you would think of a nerd behind a computer looking like.
Ox.
My character is Ox Balok, and in Morphous form, he looks like a tree. It's
a big
just
tree.
It's a thick tree, not that tall. It's probably I think it's like a 10-foot tree is what we decided upon. But it just looks like a tree, no face, just a tree. Yep. When he's not in Morphous form, he's a real thick woodsman fella.
And Millie.
Millie is offline right now because I'm trying to remember how to count. But in Morphous form, She is Mothman, except not a completely darkened Mothman, as in the proper lore of it all. She is based around the white ermine moth, so she is probably about 6 feet. But she has white wings with black spots, and she's got the regular amount of hands, which is turning out to be inconvenient. She needs more hands. But she's just a tall bug lady. And that's pretty much it. She's just a tall bug lady. She's got big glowing eyes, wobbly antennae that flicker around. Mothman.
So, and that's our group. And we are in a Nightbane camp that has 12-ish more people in it. The leader, Isabel, looks human. All of her Nightbane is mental, which was something that the group did not know about could exist. But after talking to her, if you remember, you have found that what Nightbane are has changed throughout time. Kind of so like keeping up with the times, you might say, but certain abilities that were common in Nightbane before, or forms or shapes or talents and everything, are no longer present, and other new ones have come along, like gun arms and bodies that look like motorcycles. You know, those did not exist 1,000 years ago or even a couple hundred years ago because those things just didn't exist. But now they do. The Nightbane are keeping up with the times, but it seems like there's only a set amount of things that they can be, maybe, and certain things drop off when other things get added. But right now, like I said, we are leveling a character, which does involve a little bit of math work. Lots of numbers everywhere, especially if your IQ goes up. Things get increased across the board. Peter, you got that
I have
question?
questions. Yes.
Yep.
The skill counter tracking.
Mm-hmm.
No, just tracking.
Just tracking.
It sort of looks like I had 5%, but it doesn't spell it out like the rest of them.
Let me see if I can find tracking to start with. Where is tracking? Track animals. Well, that didn't help. Let me do the old search, please. Track animals, no. Counter tracking, no.
It's right above counter tracking.
Tracking. Yeah, it's plus 5% per level.
Okay.
They just said plus 5%. Yes.
Great.
Like I said, when there was no editor for the book, they didn't know how to hire an editor in the book, and some things can be very confusing. Millie, did you have any questions? You got it all figured out now?
I believe I have it all sorted.
Cool.
Peter? I have more questions.
Sure.
It seemed like I was supposed to add some other stuff. Was I supposed to add other stuff based upon the 8 attributes?
Well, the 8 attributes do have bonuses associated with each of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it is possible that some of those other bonuses went up. You just have to be aware of them and take them into consideration. So, like your strength, are you getting more damage on your strength bonus? Or
yes.
Then you notated that. Just make sure you're aware of that. Things like that.
Okay.
Our perception went up as well, right? Because we're level 2.
Why do you say that?
Because?
I don't remember.
In talents,
No.
I've just got perception being based off of level and IQ
Yeah.
ME table.
Your perception won't go up for a while yet. It's
Okay.
like level 5 or 6 is when you get the next bonus.
Okay.
I'll look it
Cool.
up, but I know it's not 2, so don't worry about
Cool.
that. You do have a perception bonus based on your IQ, though, but
PE.
What is my IQ again? 20. Oh,
Apologies. I know I'm asking a lot of questions here.
no worries.
What do I do with my PE bonus?
PE is your save versus coma, death, and your save versus poison and magic. There are 2 different bonuses there.
Oh, wait. I was looking at the wrong thing.
PE.
I was looking at PP, and that's why it didn't make any sense.
PP. PP is your parry, dodge, strike bonus. So what you add to your dice when you're parrying, dodging, or trying to strike.
Okay. Oof.
So that's always good to go up too. Another point of fact for everybody. You all did pick up a new skill.
Ooh.
Huh.
And that is lore Nightbane.
Yay!
Because of the long conversation you had with Isabella. And it will be, at the moment, 20%.
Ooh, shiny.
And that's 20%. End of story. No other bonuses being applied to that right now. Lores will go up in time, but you need to study them. They don't go up by level. I know that they kind of say they try to go up by level, but anyway. This lore is a lore that you have to study. Of course, you do have somebody here who is an expert, 1,000-year-old almost, Nightbane. So if you do wish to spend time with Isabella during downtime or whatever, you can study Nightbane lore with her. She can teach it. So keep that in the back of your mind. In fact,
Nice.
we haven't gotten to that point yet, and that's one thing about this camp that you'll need to figure out. But there are a lot of people in this camp that have a lot of skills, and some of them can probably start helping you train skills. Like
Boss man.
Replo does have a higher hand-to-hand than you guys currently have. Might be nice to start training your hand-to-hand to a higher level. Not just hand-to-hand basic. I mean, like hand-to-hand advanced or hand-to-hand martial arts, something like that. But anyway, sorry, Peter, go ahead.
I can't figure out why my save versus magic is as high as it was.
Okay, you have a PE bonus, plus you have a bonus for being Nightbane.
Okay.
It is a +2 in Facade and a +4 in Morphus. 2 magic only.
Okay.
On top of your PE bonus. So that's why it gets so high.
Great. And then the poison is not. It's just straight the bonus.
It's just straight PE. Yep.
Cool. Okay, great. Okay. Well, some of these numbers might be wrong, but I think they're mostly right.
But we'll figure it out as we get going. Now that we've had all this great news of you guys leveling up, let's go into for some of the bad news.
Yay!
Vampires.
There
So
were some
I was refamiliarizing myself with vampires because I knew you probably would want to talk to the expert of vampires, and I was trying to familiarize myself with their lore. And I came across the mechanic in the book, in the description, that made me go, whoops. We've been doing their combat a little bit wrong. Where should I post this? I am going to post this in... Now this is this is player knowledge. This is not character knowledge yet. But I'll post this in the new Nightbane, so you can read that. And if you need me to explain how that translates,
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
appreciate an explanation.
yeah. Just give us some English on that.
So we just
So
wouldn't
when
have
you're
made it
fight-
away. We would be dead.
exactly, you
Period.
would have been dead
That's
a
what
long
that
time
means.
ago.
There's no way
Pretty
we
much.
could have ever defeated them or ran away from them.
Not-
Basically,
not
encounter
3
once,
of them.
gone,
Not
dead.
3 of them.
Goodbye.
No. It basically means when you're fighting them with your wooden sticks, you would have got 1d6 damage, and that's it. No strength
Mhm.
modifier, no punch damage modifier.
Mhm.
Now, here's the thing, and I know this is really crappy news about vampires, but I did think of a really good analogy comparison for you guys how to think about this. Okay? Vampires
Sometimes you're hosed.
are like Superman. Superman on his own is practically a god. Indestructible, super strong, can fly, has all these abilities. But if you have kryptonite, Superman's a pansy.
Mhm. So is the
You know-
computer knife our kryptonite? Or the vampire's kryptonite?
No, it's not. But anyway, just saying, if Superman would have landed in the world and his weakness would have been against lead, no one would have ever heard about Superman or who Superman was. But you take that same person and put him on another planet that has no lead, he's again a god. Vampires are the same way. They are really, really bad, really, really tough until you find their weakness and learn how to use that against them. And I will tell you, it is not wood. But
Is it kindness?
no,
So-
it's not kindness either.
Let's just
Okay.
say we're super glad you didn't remember this rule, because this campaign would have been done like 6 sessions ago.
If I would have remembered this rule, I would have not have put you up against 3 of them. I would have made it 1, and I probably would not have made it a secondary vampire. I would have made it a wildling.
Ah,
The weakest of the vampires, instead of a secondary one. I would have given you a fighting chance.
sure.
As you rolled your
sure.
d6s, I went boink, 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 boink. But anyway, yes.
Rest in peace, Flora, and all of us as well.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly. Great. So, once again, hint, hint, there is a vampire expert in camp, but you might want to talk to them and start getting some information about how maybe they should be fought.
Oh, I need to add that too.
Question.
Yeah.
Hand-to-hand damage, that hasn't gone up, right?
Yes. It's a possibility that it did.
Mine went up
sorry.
to 9.
PS
Sorry,
went
the
up,
amount
right?
of D6s that I rolled, that hasn't gone up.
Possibly, yes.
What?
Oh,
If you change
What?
categories, go to the attribute table, go to the second tab, and look and see where your new
Oh, I always forget that's there. Thank you.
second tab on the attribute table.
oh, snap
Did your
case.
strength break the next category?
It sure did, boss.
Well, then you went up.
Wait,
Unless you're
so-
fighting vampires.
Except for fighting vampires.
Unless you're fighting vampires.
Okay.
So then why is hand-to-hand combat damage on the first sheet anyway? Because it says 9 for
That's-
the 31 skill.
That's the bonus.
That's a
Oh,
straight
that's a modifier?
yes.
Yeah, it's a modifier. Yeah. So think of it
God.
like in D&D terms when you're looking at your character sheet and it says 1d6 plus 3, that 9 is that plus, whereas the d6 is what you're rolling.
Okay.
That also
One of
means
these
I
days,
can
Stitch will
carry more
remember.
stuff.
One of these days.
I roll 5 bloody d6. That's a few.
I roll
I think
4
that's
now.
more than a few, technically.
Huh?
What?
Mhm.
Yes. Doing good.
So 5d6 and then +9. Ridiculous.
Plus whatever your weapon is.
Last
Incredible.
weapon.
So,
Last
I mean, most weapons right now that we're using are another D6, and that's it. But still, every D6 helps,
Mm-hmm.
This is so many dice. What a fun game.
unless you are fighting a vampire.
We stay delusional. We're not thinking about that right now.
Yeah. Until you find out more about vampires. Which, anyway. So,
Right. to
again,
do that,
for
or-
everybody's recap, we are in a camp, a Nightbane camp. This camp has the looks of a summer camp-ish type. The buildings are not permanent structures. They are tents, and they do look like they get moved. In fact, when you're looking at it around, you will see that there is nothing in camp that looks permanent. It's all designed to be moved. Depending on who you talk to, you'll get explanations of why that is. Now, for your information, you were told this once, but it's been a while. The vampire expert is Elisa Simon, in case you want to talk to her. And the Nightlands expert, or Nightlords expert, is Freddie Myers. It was a random roll. I don't know why, but it came up that way. In fact, he is the one who's biomechanical and is half a Harley.
I
What-
love it.
What's the joke?
Freddie
Freddie Myers.
Myers.
I don't know that man.
Yeah, no, but you know them individually. Freddie
You know, Freddie.
and Myers.
Michael
The
Myers.
horror characters.
Oh,
There you
horror
go.
no, I
slash-
don't know
slash-
this.
Yes, you do. You made a comment about this a couple of sessions ago. I've got a recording
Yeah.
on it where you commented that you named both your computers after those characters.
Accidentally, yes, Freddy and
Accidentally.
Jason.
Yes, Freddie and
Yeah,
Jason.
see,
Jason
This
Myers.
is-
Yes, okay.
Michael Myers is another slasher, but anyway.
Yeah.
Is he the hockey mask one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Myers,
Remember that
Michael
one?
Myers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
think that's, yeah.
Where's that
Yeah.
Jason?
But he's also
I think that's.
the
I don't
Austin
remember.
Powers man, right? Same name?
I thought it was Stephen Myers.
I don't know. I just work here.
I
I'll have to
sure
figure
don't
that one
know.
out. But anyway,
I love it.
Isabella has departed her knowledge and has said you guys can be anger amongst the camp and talk to the other people if you wish, or do whatever you wish, but don't leave camp, please. You do know that you are protected here by something that is an improved shroud. Not quite sure yet who's doing it. You know it's not Isabella. What would you guys like to do?
Before leaving her presence, just a real quick random question. Hey, Isabella, you said that the Nightbane Morphis stuff kind of changed through the times. So, I mean, obviously pistons are a thing now. Does that mean, like, in the medieval times, there were Nightbane coming out with, like, pulley arms? Sort of like they had hooks at the end of strings and they could pull in the string and pulley and get better leverage on things. I mean, that was a high-tech intellectual technology back then.
I don't remember seeing any. Not saying that there weren't any, but I don't remember seeing anything like that.
Right, okay. Just wrapping my head around it.
Back then, it would be more horses, centaurs, you know.
Sword arms?
Sword arms, definitely.
Bow arms?
I don't remember any bow arms. Actually, I think there was somebody that. Ooh,
Crossbow arms?
9 will work. Yeah, crossbow arms.
That's cool. Wow. Okay, my
Yeah.
It's a little blown. Do you have a lore book? Not like on Nightbane
No.
lore. I mean, like, okay. I need to hit up a bookstore.
No.
Were fairies Nightbane too?
You're asking a generalized question of something that's been generalized through history. Chances are yes, but have to meet them in order to know for specific. But chances are yes.
The whole.
Anything that was outside of normal human, chances are was probably a Nightbane, except for vampires, and more recently the Nightlands creatures and people.
Right. Okay. This is crazy.
What
Well,
would you guys like to do next?
can you point me towards this Lisa Simon person?
Yeah, I'd see her. Elisa is working over in the hydroponics tent over there. She looks human, but there is an aura about her that, like that angelic glow. Animal magnetism is what her ability is. Her form is radiant
Cool.
charisma.
I'm gonna
But
go
she points
there.
to the tent, to the hydroponics tent. Is everybody going that way, or
Oh yeah.
are you splitting up? Okay.
Gotta
Going to the vampire expert first, huh? Okay.
make it easy on the GM.
Yeah, thank you. Otherwise, whatever. So in this tent, again, it's nothing is constructed permanent. It's a lot of pallets with tanks and hydroponics growing. They're growing just different vegetables, fruits and vegetables, to sustain the camp. And you see her in there. She looks to be about maybe 40-ish, but definitely has that radiant charisma glow around her, like an angel. You would expect an angel or something like that to have. Very noticeable. You see her working.
Hello. Are you
She
Ms.
looks
Simon?
Yes. What can I do you guys for? You need something to eat or something?
Not at this time, but I appreciate that. My name's Ox. And this is my niece and nephew here, Lawrence and Millie. We're new, obviously. Not that many people here, obviously we're new. But I was told that you have information about vampires. Is that true?
Yes. Could have guessed that's the second reason new people come see me. Yes. I have questions about vampires, which you run into and learn to hate, right?
Yes. So we ran into a bunch.
Well, you
What
did
can you
good.
tell? What could you tell us about the best way to do away with them in a permanent manner?
Well, the bad news is, as far as I know, at least in my time hunting and talking to other vampire hunters, there is no permanent way to get rid of them. You can only delay them for a very long time. I assume since you've fought them and you've lived, you've probably picked up on the wood thing. Wood does do damage to them, and practically everything else under the sun does not do any damage to them. Their other weakness is silver. They are highly susceptible to damage from silver type weapons. And it doesn't have to be pure silver. It can be plated, coated, whatever. And that is by far that we have found the easiest way to fight them. It is very annoying because our strength as Nightbane counts at nothing against them. So using silver weapons really works well. Definitely, she looks at Lawrence. Silver bullets is very nice.
Have you got any?
Makes them pop. No, I don't have any.
Dang it.
But those are hard to come by. I mean, they're out there at least and can be found, but I don't stockpile them because right at the moment we're trying to stay away from vampires, but you can always, if you make it to town, maybe you might be able to find some. Everything else that you saw in the movies. Go ahead. Question?
Oh, I mean, I've got a series of questions, but please continue and
Okay.
finish. I'll save them for the end.
Okay. Great. Everything else you've seen in the movies is practically wrong. Water, running water, holy water, it doesn't matter. They can go out in the rain. Don't worry about it. That's not a problem. They don't like sunlight. Definitely do not like sunlight, and it will burn them. And if they stay out in sunlight all day long, it will ash them. But that doesn't kill them. So, you could stake a vampire out, and they will ash in the daylight. But come next night, they'll be back, probably. Staking them does stop their regeneration. With a wooden stake through the heart. Beyond that, we've tried practically everything. Decapitation, burning, spreading the ash all over the place. It might slow them down from reconstituting themselves back together. Maybe take a month, maybe longer, because we don't stick around and watch them do this. So it's hard to state exactly how long, but they'll come back. There is in the old writings a myth that there is a way to hurt them a lot, and possibly the only way to kill them. But that is with voodoo V. And that in itself is a myth. So,
Sorry, who was that?
voodoo V, water of life, water from the fountain of youth.
Would you write that down for us so we can get the spelling?
It's French, but yes.
Well, I know it's French, but only part of that is
Voodoo
an
V?
understandable pronunciation.
Voodoo V.
Voodoo
Voodoo V, voodoo V, voodoo V. Voodoo V, voodoo V, voodoo V, voodoo V. Voodoo V. There you go.
Interesting.
Water
Thank
of
you.
life.
That's
Yes.
not water.
No, it's not?
No.
What is it?
Well, water is low.
Oh, interesting. Well then, once again, editors. They need editors in the book. Yes, but anyway, it's supposed to be the water of life. But again, that's a myth upon itself, and it's not like we're going to be wandering around carrying the stuff in any quantities, but that's supposed to hurt them greatly.
In case you're curious, the old Google says that Vudavi means view of life or perspective.
View of life. Huh. Well then, let's change that real fast in the book. Ludovic.
Low.
Ludovic?
Mm-hmm. Ludovic.
Ludovic. Okay, there you have it. Thank you. Corrections. So if you ever can find that, or whatever that mythical it may be, that's supposed to probably be able to kill them. And definitely hurt them. But since we can't find that or whatever, silver is our go-to thing. Some vampire hunters really get a kick carrying around silver coated chainsaws. Yeah, that works really nicely. Beyond that, it's usually silver bullets, silver etched swords, things like that, silver-tipped arrows, you know, the usual silver stuff. Now, as far as vampire structure and society goes, vampires have been around on Earth for probably about 5,000 years. The first one was not called Count Chocula or Count Dracula or came from Transylvania or anything like that, but there was a master vampire. How he became a vampire, got to find him and ask him one of these days, you know. But he was the start of it, and he is the source and has been creating vampires ever since. They are definitely trying to make more, but even though they are highly immortal, they are outnumbered, and we do happen to live in a world that has lots of trees and silver. So if governments really figured out they existed and became a threat, they could probably be wiped out pretty easily. So they're going about it slowly and carefully. There are many different levels in the vampire hierarchy. You have the master vampire who controls them all. And then you have princes. Or, a prince is a vampire who has been given control over a territory. Most modern days, in the old days, it would have been a country. Nowadays, it's probably pretty limited to a city or, surrounding areas of a city. Princes are probably very old as well. Very, very old. Vampires do get stronger as they get older. And then after that, you've got all sorts of underlings, but they're still considered to be vampires. There's also what's called a secondary vampire. The real main difference between a vampire and a secondary vampire, as far as the main difference is, a vampire can create vampires. A secondary vampire cannot create vampires. So a vampire has the ability to pass on vampirism to somebody else, whereas a secondary vampire is just a vampire for as long as they live, wherever that may be, forever, but they can't make more. A vampire can choose when they make a vampire whether it's going to be a vampire or a secondary vampire. Making a vampire or passing along vampirism is not like in the movies. It is a multiple day process. The exact process I have never witnessed, but it has to do with draining the blood out of your victim and then feeding them your blood over multiple days, like a week of doing this in order to create the vampire. I do not know in that process if it's just by will alone or if there's something they do particular to make the difference between being a vampire or a secondary vampire. Haven't kept one captive long enough to find that riddle out. Beyond secondary vampires, there are what is called wild vampires. And it's not wild vampires as in they're out in the wild and they're just running free. A wild vampire is a vampire that has starved too long from blood and has lost mental faculties in order to be reasonable. They've gone savage. They've become more creature than a being, a sentient being, which actually makes them more dangerous. They want to increase their numbers on Earth. It seems like, from what we've been able to gather, that there is a goal behind that for some reason. but we don't know what that is yet. That's the basic rundown. What other questions do you have now about vampires?
Yes. Right. About the princess. So it's kind of like factions the way they work. So like, do the princes fight amongst each other, or do they all just work with each other like a real good family?
I am gonna say no. They're not a real good family. They don't. They're not out there looking for a fight, but there have definitely been conflicts and struggles. One
Okay.
vampire wants to rule this city, another vampire owns it. They may go to war for a bit to see who controls it. But then they get settled, and it's settled for a couple 100 years.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Long-term memory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where is this master vampire located?
We don't know. On Earth. That's all we know. We've never been able to find him. Or her.
Where did he come from? Not how did he get turned?
Don't know. It's been around for over 5,000 years. We do not know where he came from. Or her. Go back 5,000 years. Where were the populations of humans at? There's your best guess, but not guaranteed. Could have been from anywhere, whether it was a human. Definitely was a human, but who knows?
Yeah, you mentioned something about a town nearby. Are expeditions to the town taken frequently?
Nearby?
You said something about a town.
Elsa did?
You did, yeah.
Or the GM did? I don't remember Elsa saying something
Thought
about
it
a
was
town
Elsa.
nearby.
When I was talking about bullets.
Oh, if you go to a town,
Oh,
you may be able to find bullets, not to a town close by.
Right. Small camp. Do we have a smithy?
No.
That's a shame. Okay.
Gonna be one?
Sorry. Yeah, smithy is a common term for the place that you can actually do the smithing. It is also used for the person who does the smithing, but you go to the smithy and it's a smithy. I can for bullets. That's about it. Nothing else.
Could always help, especially if you make silver bullets.
That was my thought. Yeah.
What other questions do we have about vampires? They definitely hunt Nightbane. We don't get along. We've never gotten along.
Is there a type of wood that works better than others?
No. Wood is wood.
Until it isn't. And I look at Uncle Ox and grin.
Until you're a Nightbane, which isn't really wood, but it's wood. Yes. That's not wood, unfortunately. But I bet that coming up on them would probably scare them for a bit. A tree walking up on them would probably scare them until they figured out you couldn't hurt them.
It does for a while.
Oh, as far as a process for like beheading and turning into ash, we did that to one, and it was back within a matter of days. Just like a couple, like 2 or 3.
Makes sense.
It's pretty quick. It's doesn't
Yeah,
slow
they
them too
can.
much.
I mean, I have seen a vampire that is a skeleton only, staked out, stakes removed, back to a full functioning vampire within 1 hour.
That's not cool.
Ashing it probably took him a while. If you can take the ashes and spread them over a great distance, that probably takes them even longer, but they'll
What
come
if
back.
you carried the ash with you?
At some point, there's got to be. They've got enough out there. Or if you carry all the ash with you, how are you stopping them from regenerating?
Well, I mean, you put them in like a flask or something.
If you put all the ash in a silver vial or flask, you could probably keep them from regenerating indefinitely, as long as that flask remains intact and hidden from the rest of the vampires. But
Okay,
it won't kill
vampire.
them.
So, like, for example, here,
Mm-hmm.
if we cut the body in two,
Mm-hmm.
ashed both halves separately,
Mm-hmm.
kept one half inside a silver flask vial,
Mm-hmm.
but left the other half.
They'll be back.
So the other half comes back. So if we open up the silver flask and vial, did we just starfish the vampire?
No.
So it just becomes useless ash?
It just becomes useless ash. If the vampire regenerates, anything it didn't use to regenerate disappears.
Disappears. So, yeah, okay, so it's not like a magic barrier.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I was thinking about Tangerine.
Yes, but anyway, yeah, you can't control them.
Oh, no. I was just thinking, if we infiltrate a place, how funny would it be to just spread vampire ash all over the inside so it wouldn't be left? And other people came in, they had a problem to take care of other than us.
Strategic deployment.
Exactly.
Would probably work, but that would require you to go out there and collect them. Good luck with that.
We've got a computer knife.
Seems
Not
easy
that you'd
enough.
let
They
me-
seem to follow us around.
The computer knife doesn't damage them.
It did.
No, you were fighting a hunter or a hound with the computer
Oh,
knife.
it was the Twisted Sister fellow,
Right.
not the vampire.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
you've only used wood on vampires. And I will tell you right
So-
now, just as a bonus, the computer knife would not hurt.
So,
Big
real quick
face.
question now, actually. With the revelation that the D6 plus D6 doesn't matter for vampires, does that mean my Shadow Blast does damage?
No.
So it's just useless against vampires.
Yes.
My shroud was useless against them as well.
Shroud isn't a damage dealing thing.
Well, no, but they could still see through it. How do we know that the vampires wouldn't be able to find us here? Because my shroud did nothing to them. They could still see me.
That you would have to talk to the twins, but this shroud is way different.
Who are the twins?
Did you say the twins?
Yes.
Okay.
The twins, you haven't met them yet, I can tell. Sonia Beale and Tanya Beale are the twins. We should talk to them, but they were born in the Nightlands.
Whoa, that sounds crazy.
And their abilities are amplified. And yes, that is crazy.
Okay, right. Well, this has been nice. This has been lovely. It's been wonderful.
Always here for a conversation if you need me.
Thank
And if
you.
you ever want to go hunting, I'm definitely up for a hunt. I've got my baseball bat around here somewhere.
This is surrounded by silver barbed wire.
No, unfortunately not. It's just a wooden bat.
We should get some silver.
Go for it. Long Ranger.
I like that. That's a good nickname. Millie, you should start calling me that, Long Ranger.
No. Over your dead body.
You can certainly try.
Well then, guys have a nice day.
Thanks, Elisa.
And for that, you can add another skill.
Woohoo!
Is
Lure
it-
vampires.
Okay.
20%.
20%. 20%.
Amazing.
And just for player knowledge, the mechanics behind it, silver damage is ×3 on vampires.
That's tasty.
Where would that go
What do you mean?
in terms of charts and
A note?
stats? Just a note.
Just a note.
Okay.
If you ever had silver damage, or you're talking to skill, the skill would just go with your skills, but
Okay.
wood does 1x, silver does 3x. Water of life does
Question: what if I had a
100.
big old wooden cudgel covered in silver at the end?
Yes.
5x?
No. 3x. You get the silver damage, that's it.
Fair enough.
And I'm sorry, you said Ludovic is how many?
100.
Times 100?
It is considered a palladium step up MDC to a vampire. Or SDC, technically, because they only have hit points. Yeah, 100. Yeah. You get a water gun full of water of life. You could walk into the vampire stronghold and go to town. Good luck getting it. Super Soaker! Hi, guys!
Okay, right. That's a lot of knowledge.
Oh, a water gun. Okay.
Yes, water gun. Okay,
What
you
if we-
do have one more expert and some. Actually, you have two. Yeah, I mean, 3 people you could talk to still. You have the expert of the Nightlands and Night Lords, and you do have these twins.
I'm not talking to any twins.
What
But
if Freddie Myers?
you said we're in the aquaponics area. I would like to have a
Hydroponics.
look around
Sure.
just to see what they're growing, what kind of systems they're using, that sort of thing.
Very, very basic. Just whatever, nothing. I mean, it has to be portable. That's the theme you're picking up on throughout this whole camp. It's got to be able to be tore down and moved quickly. It's very portable, so it is hydroponics. But it's very simple. Tomatoes, potatoes, cucumbers, anything that can be grown hydroponically. No grains.
Tomatoes,
Okay.
potatoes, cucumbers, and veggies.
Veggies, yeah. Different veggies, strawberries, all sorts of different vegetables.
Millie. Looks like you're gonna have to become a vegetarian.
the only thing they have here to eat. It's just supplement. But anyway.
I'm just going to kind of look around and be generally unimpressed with the majority of these vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Just do like a big, exaggerated sigh.
I mean, from a moth. But anyway,
It's like
vegetables
the flutter of the wing
again.
with the dusting.
Jeez.
They don't even have good ones.
Good ones. Well, introduce good ones. Get some seeds. Help out. Again, this camp isn't that old. A month old at the most. They're just getting set up, just getting started.
Still in its infancy.
Still in its infancy. There's nothing electric about this hydroponics, if that's what you're looking for. It's just, like I said, very simple. The simplest hydroponics you can come up with. No grow lights. No pumps, no fans.
Are there any openings in this tent?
Yes. This tent definitely has the flaps and the sunroof flaps for growth potential,
Okay.
but can be closed up if the weather gets bad. Any other questions you had, Ox?
I don't think so. Are they
You
using any kind of like fertilization or anything of that nature? Anything extra that they're putting in?
Nothing that you can say that is store-bought,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but you do see some like composts,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
things like that.
Okay.
Are they
What does the
using
compost
feces?
setup look like?
Yeah. What's the compost setup? What are they putting in
Well,
there?
How many
I am not.
bins? Do they rotate?
I'm not a compost expert, so I don't know.
Well, why?
Is it a
Why
rotator
bring
to
up
get the air in
something?
there?
Yeah, get
Okay.
that tumbler.
Martianing it, taking their own feces and putting it in.
If
Mhm.
we're
Sure.
all on a vegetable diet, that
As
wouldn't
long
be
as
the
as
worst
long as
thing.
it's simple, doesn't require electricity, motors, and can be moved, they got it.
Probably the
Probably,
tumbler ones then.
yeah, probably not bins. That'd be too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably just a tumbler.
Too heavy?
Hang on.
They're
We're,
Nightbane.
we're Nightbane. There's no such thing as too
You can
heavy.
pick up
so
cars. You can
when
pick
I-
up cars and move them around.
when I'm thinking bins, I'm thinking of like 6x6 doohickeys just fill all the way up with dirt. You can't even
Multi-compartmentalized.
you can't even like pick those up in like in a way that's
I'm thinking
effective.
like oil barrels. You know, the ones that are about 4 foot tall, about maybe 3 foot wide. You fill it up halfway. One of us just picks it up and shakes it about. There you go. You got your rotating compost. And we can easily pick those up. We're strong enough.
Okay, but hear me
So-
out. If this is hydroponic, why are we composting? I love a good compost,
It's-
but that doesn't add up.
For the non-hydroponic sections, it's an early camp.
Okay.
Some areas aren't going to be entirely hydroponic.
Okay.
Ox is skeptical of their setup
Mhm.
and would like to spend some time thinking of something better and more efficient.
Millie's also going to have much to say and
Oh.
much to think about this compost situation.
Okay, let's go
That
talk to
sounds
Freddie
good.
Myers.
I keep thinking you're going to say Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, no, Freddie Myers. Let's ushering them out of the tent, looking back at Elisa. I'm so sorry about their cynicalness. They're just a bunch of jerks sometimes.
We're the
Or
cynical
cynicism.
ones.
Hey, we made it to camp. We're alive. I'm not freaking out anymore. Mostly.
Mostly. No, you're coming to the good expert lore dump though. The Nightlands. Now you're gonna start freaking out. But join us next week for the lore dump on the Nightlands and the Night Lords. That's gonna be whew. There's gonna be some freakouts with that. There's gonna be some freakouts about the Nightlands too.
We're not gonna cry.
end may have closed for now. We hope you met a friend this go around. Tired and blurry you may be. We hope your minds are full from this revelry. May peace follow you out. May you return for more giggles and shouts.